Hi guys, Dennis here from Denny Bob's RC. Hey, I've got my Kabolite K336 all tore apart. And I'll show you what I found. I did find an oil leak on it and an irritation. And also went and added a beacon and a little sound kit. Where you'll find the oil leak is, okay, these are these little cap off little plug holes. Just make sure there's a tight, but in this hole, there is a pressure relief valve. That's where the pressure relief valve is. And this pressure relief valve has a spring on it. One thing I will do is I suggest when you go to take this out, if it is leaking, screw it in till it, don't go crazy, but screw it in till it stops. And count the turns that you turn it in till it stops so that you can get it set back to the appropriate pressure, because there is no valve on these units. I replaced the O-ring with one of the better green O-ring, so it had a black one on it, and yeah, it leaked. So just like any of the Chinese stuff that seems to be built, there's always leaks because they use really crappy O-ring. So anyway, there is a plunger in there. There's a spring, so when you take it apart, be really careful. One thing I did do is I did add a beacon, and it just stays this cycle. I don't have it switching cycles. I just have it plugged into the port on one of the receiver ports. I didn't assign it to a pin or a channel or anything. I just want it on. I don't need it to flip from one thing. This actually kind of lets me know that, hey, the battery's on, dummy. I did add an SG engine sound system. It only has 5 sounds on it. One's diesel, and it does have a horn. So I got to take the green wire from it, and I assigned it to my SWC switch. So I got to flip it all the way down, and it'll start it, and then it'll sit at idle. And then it'll shut off in like 30 seconds. And then there's my full run when I'm using it. It's a simple sound system, but it works. Works for me. I went and removed the Kabolite paint name on the sides. I have the cat decals coming, and I will probably clean that off too. Like I said, it shuts off on its own when it's sitting there and idle. But yeah, I'll get that put back in, and should solve my problem on my oil leak. So yeah, I like the little units, but there's always some little knick-knack going wrong with them. But anyway, that's something maybe to take and look at. One thing, they absolutely do not send any oil in these reservoirs when they ship them to you. So you go and you plug it in and it doesn't work. It's because there is absolutely no oil in it. So and I actually take the lid off of this. Some of the early ones had painted on the inside of the reservoirs, and that paint will flake off and get stuck in the suction. So I've already taken this lid one off, this one here, and there is no paint. It's just raw aluminum on the inside of that reservoir. So one thing you do have to, I think there's 7 screws from the bottom to take the top off, and then you have to take 2 screws out right here that hold a grab handle that goes in here. It's just easier to take it off and get it out of the way. But other than that, that's it. Yeah, I can never seem to leave stuff alone. But when you find a little oil leak, I found it when I tore it apart to put my beacon in and my sound system in. So it's just kind of by accident that little cavity there was filled up with oil, and it was starting to seep down. And oil's like anything else, just makes a mess, and I don't care for messes, so try to keep all the oil leaks to a minimum. Always go through with these things and check all your little hardware and make sure it's tight or snug or tight. And anyway, and use a little blue Loctite or something on the screws. It's always a good idea to go through these things, because Yeah, they don't Loctite anything from the factory. So these little things have vibrations and shake themselves apart from time to time. So I'm happy with the purchase so far, but hey, I haven't even got it out in the dirt yet. But you know, it was cheap enough. I don't care. So catch you guys later.